Hey guys, Double NKH here again, coming at you with a part 3 on the 1965 Plymouth Fury, also known as Fury-ous. This one's going to be some more TLC. We'll add the MSD distributor and then get it over to Carl at KP Tuning, put it on the dyno and see if the 383 big block makes any power at all. Hopefully Carl can maybe tweak the timing, we'll get it running a little bit better, and then, I don't know, go beat it up and break it, who knows. She's been sitting for a week or two. It'll be nice to get her ripping on the road again. Now check this out, Holly actually sent me some parts, so huge shout out to the crew over at Holly. You know, can't thank you guys enough. We got some valve cover hold down bolts, MSD blaster 2 coil, MSD wires, the hold down bracket for the coil, and then a finned air cleaner, retro style. Let's check this thing out. Oh yeah, that's gonna basically match the Mickey Thompson valve covers that are on there too. Very sweet, love it. And I guess start with the easy stuff. These old valve cover hold downs are stripped out, and these things are they don't grab the splines anymore. And then we'll clean the wiring up, and well, heck, I guess might as well throw that new filter on. I always like to start with the, you know, things that keep you motivated, right? It's like, oh boy, that was some good progress. Oh yeah, that fits nice. Matches those valve covers. So let me get rid of these old chintzy things now. And we'll drop on the old school looking Mr. Gasket T-bar style. Whoa, there they go. These seem high quality, and they come with little studs that you got to screw in them. 1/4 by 20 probably. They're slotted on one end to be able to screw them in, and then I'll drop some red Loctite where they screw into the T-bar so that way they don't come out. As it turns out, the stud is not long enough for the Mickey Thompsons. So maybe I'll just put the studs in the head. That'd probably make a lot more sense, huh? Yes, that makes much more sense. Now I just gotta do that 12 more times. I'm just noticing probably gonna be a problem at the firewall though with the brake booster there. We'll figure that out though. Boom. All right, that's much nicer. No need to worry about the stripped splines anymore. And on this last one, I just hammered out the bar pin, and that way I can screw it on, and well, it'll look just like that, I suppose. Actually could leave the pin in there and it hits the brake booster, but I suppose we'll just keep it out in the glove box for now. Looks good. I'm not OCD, but if you wanted all these bars clocked the same, then you could back off that stud a touch and get them perfect, but you'll be snugging these back down in the future as that cork gasket breaks in. Let's put this blaster black coil on. I suppose we'll just mount it where the old Excel super coil is. These super coils are actually oil filled too. You can hear it in there. Kind of cool. Never mind, we're gonna go on the fender well. Oh, not hammer drill. Oh shoot, I just skinned my knuckle on the alternator. Oh, come on. You should be wearing gloves, buddy. Dab some marine grease on those holes. And I'm such a weirdo, I'm using 3/8 stainless steel bolts in this bracket. So overkill, but just brings me happiness, I don't know. Oh yeah. Just gotta get some bolts in the bottom of this fender too. They should be secured to the frame down there. Like that. And what the heck, I guess I'll go around the whole thing, hit them all. Get these T-bars in with the 1/4" bolts. And the super coil stays on the parts shelf. I didn't miss much last night. I just put the plug wires in, touched up a couple things, and putting the MSD distributor in now. Not gonna go into detail on this install because Holly has a great video that I'll plug in down below. But I'm almost at the point of firing it up, and then I gotta tidy the wiring, of course. And Jen just came out with the new chickies. Her first time exploring the grass a little bit. Let's do a balance check on you. Oh, look at that. Ooh, there she goes. This is where the chicks are gonna live for now, until they are big enough to mix in with the adults. So they got their water, heat lamp, some food. This one goes, that's an auxiliary bucket that goes down into the main feeder right there. And they got enough water. Yes. Look at that clean, tight wiring, guys. This is all finished, ready to start it up. Must have something wrong. I'm not getting any ground signal at the coil, so no spark. I think I found the problem. It's just looking through the book and then talking to Carl too. And so I had to make up a little harness here because it turns out I'm missing the harness that goes from the distributor into the this little 2-wire connector. And I gotta call Holly for that, but I just wired it up, kind of hack version, and I was using the green and purple. It turns out I should be using the green and purple with stripe. So I got it wired that way now. Let's see if it fires up. There it is. Gotta verify the timing now. I have the static timing set at 15, so once you have it running, you want to verify that, but it's not. It's not at 15, it's at 10, so I can tweak the distributor now. And then the Sniper has full control of the timing. I set max timing at 32 degrees wide open throttle. Now I gotta just tidy up this rat's nest, because if Carl sees this, he's gonna laugh at me pretty hard. On these plug wires, these aren't the universal ones, so even if you get a set that's designed for your vehicle, they're always too long. And what I like to do is just slide the ends off of them, and then once you're sure you have everything wired the way it needs to be, you can still remove these ends very easily and cut them back to the way you want. So that'll be nice and tight. You never leave them just all dangling like that. It's terrible. So yeah, I'll let you know how that looks once I'm done wrapping it up. Kind of multitasking today too, painting some parts for the boat. Get this baby shining. And how's that look? Got everything loomed and tidied up. Plug wires cut to proper length. High temp sheathing on that, so no rubbing anywhere. You got the wire separators. Good to go. On the MSD cap, they do come with this hold down, but I never like to put this on since I like the ability to pull plug wires off of here and check for misfires and such, and I've never had one of these pop off. I love these little plastic cylinder identification tabs. Comes with a tool. You just slide that and then take the proper one. It spreads it out, slides it right into place. Kind of sweet. Now, I'm not usually a flashy guy, but there's one major piece of bling missing under this hood, and it should go right here. Well, that's right, an Optima battery. My favorite battery ever. So I just got one in the mail. This is the 3478, and yeah, let's slap that in. Over on my Tundra is an example of why I love Optima batteries. This red top is 9 years old. I used to have it in a Toyota pickup, and then I used it as a jump pack. I've even wired it backwards by mistake before and melted the negative terminal. I've drained it out several times, and it's still going 9 years later. So I'm sold on the red top. Some guys like blue tops, yellow tops. I like red tops. As your boy Chris Fix would say, out with the old and in with the best. Oh yeah. What's cool about the 3478 battery is it fits a wide variety of vehicles. It's got the top posts, the side posts, and then you can put this underneath to raise it up more. Comes with several different clamps for different style batteries too. Always splooge up the terminals with some grease. I like using Bel-Ray marine grease. It's not stinky and it just works good. I usually coat the whole things in grease too, but I'm gonna try out the blaster surface shield on these terminals. We'll see how that holds up. Got a piece of this nylon hydraulic hose sheath here. Seal up the one end. And that works great for battery terminal cover. Could have made it a little bit longer. I'll just throw a zip tie on that. Time for a test drive. She's just running like a top. I think the first thing we'll do is go fill up the fuel so we can see what kind of mileage we're getting sometime. Go guys! We'll throw some premium in the old girl, why not? I mean, who knows what the compression ratio is in this thing anyway. So I got this rear window working and the trunk just keeps popping up. I gotta figure out the latch. I haven't been able to open this yet. The key wasn't turning, so I'll have to take this panel off in here. It is 18.86, 90 bucks. We got 88,052 miles. It seems to be working good too. positions. The EFI actually sounds like a belt squeal slightly. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Yeah. Get it, baby. Woohoo! She's a cruiser. We're doing 45. Let's see if we mash it. Oh, yeah. Let off a little bit there for it to shift. Might have to mess with the shifting on this. A little bit of vibration up front when I let off the accelerator too. Oh, a little floaty. High tide down at the ramp, and he still didn't put the docks in yet. Almost that time of year though. Uh-oh, I'm getting a flickering oil light at idle. Goes away off idle. I'll have to go home and check that. I checked the oil level and that's all good. I guess it'd be a good idea to check the oil pressure, which is switches right down here. Ooh, all right, well that was pretty loose on there. But that, oh man. I like bumped it and it fell off of there too, the spade. All right, well, that still shouldn't have set the light though. So let's, I'll pull the switch out of there and do a quick check. Made in USA. Should have oil pressure gauge. Yeah, actually, here we go. Harbor Freight Special. It's already got the 8th MPT on there. Fully warmed up at idle. We're about 22 PSI. Let me raise the RPM. Only go up to about 32 or so. I'd like to see that a little higher, but 22 PSI at idle is not too bad. And the oil light's off, so that would make sense with that loose wire on there, why the light kept coming on. Little dab of Blue Monster on those threads. It's my favorite thread sealant. Key on, engine off. We got the oil light. And key OER, oil light goes off. Let's let that idle down and we'll call that fixed. The bulb looks good. Oh, no, maybe not. The filament's good, but it's right of the part. Should have something that'll work in here. There we go. And for all that clunking over bumps, that's just the sway bar mostly doing it. You see this just, but it's oil soaked and that's why the bushings kind of are shot up top too. So we'll have to fix that power steering fluid leak, and then these forward strut arms too, whatever you want to call them. Forward support arms we'll call them. Those bushings are shot too. So. Well, it's a gloomy day, but we're gonna take the Fury over to a car show. However, on the way, I stopped at this junkyard and I'm gonna show you guys a few vehicles that I'm thinking about doing a will it run on. So drop a comment down below and tell me which one you would like to see, if any, and feel free to skip ahead. There's timestamps down below if you don't want to see any of these cars. Now there's this four-door Nova, pretty clean looking, some body damage, missing the front bumper, but it's got a V8, and I grabbed the motor that rocked, well, it did a second ago, rocked back and forth a touch. Certainly a pretty solid candidate. Next is this Ford LTD. I love the interior on this. Oh yeah. Didn't pop the hood on it or see if it even has an engine, but I guess we'll have to check that. But check out the front end on it. This looks like, I don't know what year it is, maybe 70 or something. It's last on the road in 02 actually, so that's a good sign. Now a Barracuda here, not great candidate though, because it's got a solid looking motor, a little 2-barrel, but it's sat into the swamp pretty deep and has no floor, quite a bit of rust and missing parts. that's probably a no-go. Bronco 2 XLT. Look at those alloy wheels on there. This rotted out where they all rot in there. Manny tranny, okay, I'd like to see that. This is definitely a candidate, absolutely. Paint job on that looks original. That can't be original, that's really nice paint. These are going up in value too, these old Bronco 2s. An International Lodestar 1600. Oh my gosh, look inside. This has a full vine growing inside of it. Like, look at the front window. That's creepy looking. Wow. Got to get this one before spring's in full bloom. Comes with a full load of cinder blocks too, so you could, heck, if it comes with them, you could build a nice garage with that, actually. Yeah, we'll pass on these. Decent little Camaro block here. None that look like they're gonna be easy to get on the road. Pole Barn Garage would take one now and get it going in a month. Love that guy's channel. Check him out if you haven't seen him before. How about this Fury? Look at the styling on that. Look at these hard, sharp lines. This thing, he's got mean faces on him. That's a little far going though. A wrecker over here, also fairly rough, but manual trans. And custom 30. Heavy duty. It's got a motor. It looks like somebody tore into it though. Somebody was getting work done. Oxyacetylene hoses. The Fleet Star 2000. Oh, that's a serious wrecker. A Ranchero is jacked up. This is four-wheel drive too. Somebody did this up. Okay, actually this might be the winner right here. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. There's still many more to go look at, but this Ranchero has won my attention. Oh, what's that, got a Cleveland? It's manual too. Unfortunately, it looks like he got in a fairly severe accident. Probably not the safest of vehicles. The Sierra Grande 2500. It's a cool old wrecker. I like that these aren't closed, the booms, so you can repair them easier and see if they're rusting out on the inside. There's a bunch more very interesting vehicles in this yard. So drop a comment down below out of the ones that I showed you. Which of those would you like to see a Will It Run on? They're all pretty rough, but there's some gold in this yard. This wagon's looking a little rough with all these other shiny vehicles. That's all right though, she's happy. First car show in probably, I don't know, 30, 40 years? First car show ever, maybe, right? I wonder why the brakes were so weak sauce today. I'll put a zip tie on there. It's funny, I didn't even barely notice it was off because with this cam that has like no vacuum and the brakes just aren't great in this. I think it only pulls like 8 inches at idle. 69 Ranchero. Look at that paintwork. All the Econo line. Super clean. Woo! Got the crackers on there. Here we go. There's the Fury 3. Oh man, all original. Beautiful car. Not as cool as the wagon though. This was a good time. Gotta head off and get some work done now. But it was definitely fun to show up to a car show with this thing.
We learn on the street.
a joy cruising this thing around, I tell you. All right, we're at 88,144, so it's about 92 miles, and this has proved to be pretty accurate. I pulled out a GPS speedometer. I was checking it. It's off by maybe like 5%, but let's see what kind of fuel mileage we're getting. I've been kind of beating on it too, so.
Black tea lemonade, dragon fruit lemonade with coffee crumble. Pay in the gas.
No, guys, it's not good. It's not good at all. 11.94 gallons. So that's less than 8 miles to the gallon. I guess I'll have to start driving a little bit easier. Oh, I just noticed something leaking on the passenger side. Looks like maybe heater core. No, it feels like oil. Is this coming? Yeah, heater core. Look at that. It's really oily. All right, guess I shouldn't be too shocked because this was a pretty filthy cooling system. Oh yeah, it's under high pressure. Yep, yeah, so we'll just we'll definitely just bypass that for now since it's summer. Not leaking much because we're right up to level. I'm sure one day this car will get some body work and cosmetic love, but not in my possession. However, I don't like to leave this open rust. I mean, it does look cool, but I suppose I should probably clear coat that. Look how thick this paint is though. Like, I mean, it's rusting all under here, but as it rains, the water kind of creeps underneath there because it rained earlier. And look at that. This is like the thickest paint I've ever seen. I mean, you could straight slice somebody open with a piece of this paint. Like, this is really strong stuff. I thought this would be a good time to try out some more of the Surface Shield by Blaster. I'm going to just do a quick shot across these couple spots and see how that holds up, because this car sits outside full time. It certainly goes on pretty thick, and then back here I'm going to just wipe off the excess, leave it kind of wet like that, and we'll do a maybe a few week test or something, touch back in a future video, see how bad this looks compared to those. Well, tomorrow morning's the day we finally get this on the dyno, and I was doing a few last minute checks. I got the new high pressure power steering hose, a new return hose too, because this heater hose is all swollen when it's hot. It's like jello about to just blow apart, and this, the high pressure is leaking pretty bad, like I think I already showed you. I'll get that stuff on there and then see you guys at KP Tuning tomorrow morning.
Hot rod, baby.
Oh yeah. Well, we got it rigged up on the dyno down at KP Tuning. Took it for a ride and did a little drivability, started up tuning, and now we're gonna do a base pull and see what it's making. What's your guess for a horsepower number on this thing? 150, yeah. I was thinking like 175. I don't think it's gonna be much, that's for sure, but let's find out. It is. Carl was right on point. First run, 147 horsepower, max torque 218. There's the graph. What a turtle. All right, let's see if we can work on that a little bit. Carl had to take a quick break, so I came out back to check out the dumpster situation, since I always do that. But look at this nice sheet of granite here. A couple good tires, some mirrors, and more importantly, a huge roll of like a EPDM pond liner, rubber pond liner. This stuff is not cheap, and that's got to be what, 8 feet long. This looks like it's been sitting quite a long time, so I'm glad we got the wagon here today, because I think I'm gonna take that. I'll certainly use that for something. Whether I hoard that or I sell it on Marketplace, that's a huge score. That's got to be worth several $100s. some tweaks. Here's what we got on the second pull. This is just the shift, so that spikes. That's not a real number, but we peaked out around 195 horsepower, 230 pound-feet of torque.
So if you click back, this is right after the shift. That's like 3,700 if I remember right, 240 foot-pounds of torque. And then out here at like peak horsepower around 5,000, 195 horsepower. And then it starts to drop off. But it's an old engine, so
yeah, it's not bad.
It's to be expected. I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, it runs good now.
Look at that wagon for the win. It's like a glove. Well, that was fun. He smoothed out some of the drivability. Like at a traffic light before, this thing was always sitting and kind of hopping because it was a surging idle, and running way smoother at idle in gear at traffic lights now. It's also just smoother throughout the RPM band now. It was kind of a little bit surgy before, and it may have learned itself, but he put tweaks on there that just made the overall drivability better. Now it's got to fix the noise over bumps. And so if you're in the Philadelphia area and you need any standalone ECU tuning, definitely check out Carl over at KP Tuning. I'll drop a link to his Facebook down below. This thing might not be a race car, but it is a nice cruiser. I think I've already said this a bunch of times, but just going down the highway, if you can steer it with your pinky, whether you're doing 60 mile an hour or you're in a parking lot, and it just gives you this feeling of like you're on a boat out at sea somewhere. I mean, it's got nice floaty, just great suspension. Well, we got to stop. Coolant just hit 240 going down the highway. This is not good. Oh yeah, she's cooking, guys. Blowing out of the discharge tube, or the overflow. I guess we'll let her cool down before we get going home. Gonna need some water, that's for sure. It's not even that hot out today, maybe like 75, 80 tops. Well, I guess that shows my solder repair on the bottom of the rad is good, because that was some extreme heat and pressure, and that's not leaking at all. Got her down at 205. Half going in the rad and half cooling the engine down. All right, she's all topped off. And I'll try just leaving that cap loose on there. We only got about 5 miles to go home. 183 and dropping. Halfway home, up to 201, 202, slowly still climbing. Sure, it's not helping that this thing's cruising like 2,900 RPM down the highway. Made it back home, guys. Smoking a little bit out under the hood. Let's see what our temp is. We only got up to 217. She's boiling over again, so we'll let that cool down for a little bit. Come back. I'll just take this thermostat out altogether for now. I was thinking I had a 195 thermostat in here, and it's actually got a 180 in it. I believe this is the original that came out, and this is a 195. So that's not a good sign. We'll see what it does with leaving the thermostat out completely, but seems definitely got some kind of issue going on. I mean, you guys seen the cooling system in the part 1, though. It's pretty caked up. Just blued her up, because this is really corroded, so need something to fill those voids. 10'1", like probably 100 feet in that roll, at least 75. Let's check the mils on this too. At 56 mil. That's good stuff. Made in USA, EPDM FR. You think about using this as a car cover on the Chevelle? Is that like just entirely stupid? Will it hold up to the sunlight? I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna try it though. Definitely the heaviest duty car cover ever. Might not help keep the interior temperature down, but that's definitely gonna keep her dry. And if you ever do cover a car with a tarp, I find it important to leave the sides open like this, so that way it can still breathe a touch, even maybe leaving the windows a crack, because if you wrap them all the way down the bottom, then the moisture kind of gets trapped in there. But anyway, I guess I'll see how that holds up. I suppose there was only maybe like 25 or 30 feet in that roll. Definitely nowhere near 75. I've had this running for 15 minutes on the funnel. The level hasn't dropped, no bubbles coming up at all. I mean, it's got mud in the system, but you could change this 20 times and it's still gonna look like that. Oh, maybe if you change it 100 times, it might clear up. It would really help if we had a shroud around this fan to divert, help direct the air into the rad, but we're still getting a ton of airflow across this, and good coolant flow through the rad, because the upper hose is hot, the lower one's warm, so that's working well. A true test is going to be taking it out and hammering on it again. Yeah, we just broke 200 with the thermostat out. No, not good. 218. She does cool down if you let her sit and idle for a minute though. This is gonna be a horrible idea, but some of you guys were asking if it will do a donut, and it was a hard no with the carburetor on there. I'm sure it's still a solid no with the EFI. It's just a turtle, 4,000-pound station wagon, but we're gonna give it a go anyway, and it's probably not gonna be pretty, but let's try it. Call that a yes. I tried so hard when the carb was on there, power braking it just wouldn't do it. But felt like it was a one-legger, I'm sure. It did it. It felt cool anyway. I don't know how it looked on camera. And it only got up to 220. It's already on its way back down. It's just something you have to try for yourself. I don't know why I like doing that. Been doing it since I was a kid. Terrible with hats. They're always blowing off my head. I've been doing about 45 for the last 15 minutes and we're holding a solid 215. So that's not horrible, but it's definitely way harder than it should be, especially with the thermostat. I mean, maybe it's just that super clogged up cooling system. Like, we did clean the majority of the rust out in part one, but maybe some more stuff got dislodged. She just stalled out on me and I made a quick turn off. Let's see if it starts back up. No, it doesn't. All right, I just broke down like right there, so I'm like, oh, let me make a quick right turn. I didn't run out of gas. Well, the coolant came up to 226 since we stopped, actually. I was holding a solid 210 the whole way cruising. Let's see if we got RPM signal on here. Yeah, there it goes. Well, that's really hot. Yeah, see, it's dropping back down though. No, now look at the air fuel. Holy smokes. Oh, that's super, super rough. And now my fuel pump won't even come on. This turned out to be a really fun. There it goes. Now it is coming on. I believe I just found the problem. Look at the fuel pump relay. It looks like it started working its way back because this has only got one screw and there's no lock tab on this. So it was plugged in before, and over time it rattled loose and then kind of, yeah, probably doing those donuts. Let's try that again. There it is. All right, so the fuel pump had a loose connection, was glitching out. The manifold air temperature, 152 Fahrenheit. Holy smokes. I took a break and she cooled down completely. Then I had back on the highway, and it's just a real gradual, but about 9 miles later, we're up to 226, and I got to pull off. I think if I just bring my speed down, that'll cool off on its own. Yep, about a mile later, doing 40, and it's dropped down to 216 very gradually. So it can handle 45, 50, can't handle 65, 70. Let's go ahead and take a gander at this cooling system, see if we can figure out why it's overheating. Actually, back down into the 40s today. So that was the first time we were in the 80s and you saw what was happening. I'm thinking about it, you know, a logical explanation would be a water pump that has the veins sheared off, but we already got a new water pump and that's spinning fine. So the next, I guess, reasonable thing would be a clogged up radiator. It's not eating any coolant at all, even when I was overheating it a little bit the other day. You know, it never boiled over, so definitely doesn't seem to be a head gasket issue, but a clogged up radiator would definitely make sense. And running it on the dyno, we could have dislodged a bunch of crud and packed it all up in there. So let's pull a hose off and see what comes out. We're gonna do a couple quick thermal tests. I've had this running at 2600 RPM for several minutes now. This Flexifan, that pushes some serious air across the radiator even without a shroud. We're up to 176, and I'm actually having some running issues too. I don't know if I remember telling you it was going lean the other day. Watch it, see if it keeps running. Look. These two injectors are working. This one's barely working, and this one's not working at all. Even if I smack open the throttle, check it out. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Nothing at all out of here. See, there goes stolen. What's up with that? Maybe we'll give it a little tap. Oh, look at that. Now this one is working. Unreal. Alright. You guys see that? Okay, we'll call that fixed. And I've got this Seek thermal imaging camera. We can look at the radiator and check this out. You see how there are some rows that are cold? It's not using all of the radiator because those ones are probably clogged up completely. We're gonna pull this lower rad hose off and see how much mud or crud's in the bottom of it, but there's no sense in putting a new aluminum radiator in this until we do a thorough cleaning and flush on this. So I got a couple ideas. I was thinking about filling the system completely with vinegar. And you might think that's crazy at first, but that eats away rust like no other. Or maybe even trying the PD Blaster or the Blaster Rust Bath, since in my last video you guys might have seen that works really, really good. Could even fill it with muriatic acid too, right? Probably not that though. But whatever, let's see what the bottom of this looks like, how much crud comes out. Oh yeah, muddy water. But look at that, not really too much heavy deposits came out. Just a little bit of crud. Next thing I want to check is how well does this radiator flow in normal direction before we back flush it. I got full 60 PSI garden hose flow going in there, 0 restrictions. You see that's coming right out the bottom. However, if it's not using all of the cores in the radiator because they're clogged, then it's not going to cool properly. But it could not be the rat at all. It might just be a clogged up block where that cooling water is not able to circulate through like it should. So all that's going to be in the next video where we do an extremely thorough flushing on this system and get the overheating situation fixed. And then I'm also going to have to message Holly and find out what's up with the Sniper EFI. Maybe we'll warranty that one out or see if we take it apart and find out why that was sticking. I mean, I do have a pre-filter and then a post-filter at the fuel pump, and it's coated fuel tank, so there shouldn't be any crud getting in there at all. It's all new fuel lines, everything's completely new. But I think for now we'll put a cap on part 3. Definitely a slight disappointment with the fuel injection issue, just because we had it on the dyno and now all that work that we were doing on there could have been just null and void. I mean, forget about it. This thing could have been putting down more power. We might have to find out in a future video. And otherwise, there's another car show I'm going to probably bring this to tomorrow if the weather's good. So I think that wraps this one up. Thanks so much for watching if you did, and I hope to see you guys in some other videos, obviously doing a little bit of everything. So I'll see you there. Thanks guys.